Rachael Ray double R, doing some double N's. Boop. What? Food that you can make so quick, it will free you up for more free time in your life. Over the top, crushing it. Oh my God, it smells fantastic. Boom! Nailed it! Okay, this recipe makes me think of Sophia Loren. I love Sophia Loren, a great film star. But what was most important to her was being a mama. And when she became a mama, she started cooking more and more and more. One of my favorite cookbooks that burned in this house, when my house burned to the ground, was Sophia Loren's cookbook. One of my friends knew that and sent me another copy. It's not in print anymore. A vintage copy of that cookbook to replace it for me. So this makes me tearful. In a good way, in a happy way. But when I think of eggplant parm, eggplant parmigiana, I think of Sophia Loren because it was the first time I read in a cookbook eggplant done in the proper Italian style. It is not breaded, it is not fried. Well, it is fried in that most people cook the eggplant itself in oil on each side. I do not, I roast mine, but regardless. But they don't bread it. They don't put a heavy coating all over it. And there's not mozzarella between each layer of the dish. The mozzarella goes, if you use it at all, up on the top of the dish. It's about the use of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, which we have about, I'd say 2.5 cups of it here. This is the most important element, is that you layer in the Parmigiano Reggiano. I do put a little mozzarella up on the top when I finish the casserole, and that's what this is. It's a casserole dish, all it is. And I do use some up on top because that's the mental expectation for the people I'm serving. My pot is talking to me, and that's a real thing. When a pot speaks, when the oil starts to bubble, this is butter melting into my olive oil from our house in Italy, casserole. It means add something to me, pay attention to me, you're not looking at me. What's going on? I'm over here and you don't even notice me. So to that, a lot of people add onion to this sauce. I don't. I just put in a little simple tomato basil sauce. I put in butter, olive oil, and maybe a sprinkle of sugar or a drizzle of honey. That's up to you guys. And some garlic, lots of basil, and tomato product. That's it. I don't want the onion in it. That's a Neapolitan sauce to me. So this guy is perfect. He's bubbling, but he's not browning. So we can add a little garlic. And it's on very low heat. Just above low, below medium. And we're just gonna grate the garlic right into the pot. A few cloves. And I have the oven. The oven preheating to 450. You want the oven pretty high. We're gonna cook the eggplant very quickly at a high temperature. We'll get to that in just a second, but we can let the sauce cook and just turn it off whenever it's good. It doesn't take long, it takes a few minutes. So this is all, already smelling fantastic. Wow, so yummy. And again, pinch of sugar or a little drizzle of acacia honey, light color. The lighter the color, the lighter the flavor. If you can see through it, it's innocuous and it's just sweet flavor. You can also use agave. Okay, a little sprinkle of sugar. Crushed tomatoes, a 28 to 32 ounce can, depends on what country you buy it in or from. When you buy Italian tomatoes, here's something to know and remember. Italian tomatoes will say DOP, meaning it's passed a certain exam of a standard of the region where the product is coming from. It should say DOP, and it should say made in Italy or from Italy. There are brands that will try and trick you, and they use San Marzano as a name or as part of their brand identification. And if you look on the back, the product is not from Italy at all. Now, there's delicious tomato product from America. Delicious, fantastic. My friend Farmer Lee Jones grows great tomatoes. I live in New York. We live next door to New Jersey, of course, known for their delicious tomatoes. But if you want Italian San Marzano tomatoes, which are extremely sweet, just make sure you're getting what you actually are paying for. That's all I'm saying. It's just a little bit of, I used to be a food buyer for many, many years. So those are little things that you should know. So now we're going to move on to the eggplant itself. I'm gonna stretch this sauce because I got a lot of people to feed here. Any recipe that I'm teaching you, certainly, you can stretch, believe me. All you gotta do is add a little more tomato, a little more basil, you might need a little more salt at the end, whatever. We're good. So this is just gonna bubble away, and I don't want it to bubble all over me. So I'm gonna leave it covered with just a little crack over here to let it breathe a bit, let's say. Be right back. Like the Jeffersons? Move it on up. No?
Oh, yeah, I got you. Move it on.
How young are you? Let's move on to the eggplant. Now, they have largely bred out, farmers have largely taken away the bitterness of eggplant. But as long as I've been alive, which is over half a century, this is the way my family has always cooked eggplant of any kind. We salt it and we let it hang out. Why do we do this? The firmer we make this before it touches oil, the less oil it will absorb. Another really big point about the eggplant is whenever we buy eggplant, small, medium, large, whenever you pick up an eggplant, it should be very heavy and dense and extremely firm. It should not be soft at all to the touch. And I don't like putting it in the coldest part of the fridge. I like to buy it as close to the day I'm gonna make it, and I just leave it on the counter overnight. I don't like exposing it to too much cold. It gets spotty, gets black on the inside and soft on the outside. So we're always looking for density, okay, and firmness with eggplant. So after it's salted and drained on towels for a while, we put it on sheet trays. You're gonna need at least 2. I have 3 medium, very firm eggplant here. You might need 3 trays. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to do granulated garlic and onion. They like to hang out together. They're buddies. A little bit of fennel pollen. Fennel pollen, you can also use ground fennel or a little sprinkle of fennel seed. Basically, we're trying to make the eggplant taste like a sweet sausage. It's the easiest way I can say that. And we're going to add either the fennel pollen or the fennel seed, a little sprinkle of oregano, and a little bit of pepperoncini. Red pepper of any kind, ground, flakes, whatever you like. So here's all of our ingredients in one dish for that sprinkle. And then you go, And then we're gonna spray this with oil to make it stick and throw these guys in the oven. We have to let these guys roast a while before we can work with them. We want them to get nice and hot and browned on the top, and flip them around. You can switch your trays. But we want these guys to be really well flavored and really well seasoned and come out kind of ready to build that casserole. Okay, now let's take a break. Okay, guys, I gotta make some more room here. I have a little bit of bread that I've toasted up lightly, and we're going to put a little garlic, butter, and olive oil on that. Gee, I wonder what we're making. Could it be garlic bread? We have our sauce bubbling away. This is a nothing sauce. This is olive oil, butter, tomatoes, San Marzano chopped or hand crushed, doesn't matter. And I stretched it a bit by adding passata. What is passata versus tomato puree? Passata is tomatoes that are fresh and very ripe and ready to be crushed. One of my favorite descriptions is, I think it was from Stanley Tucci's book about taste. Tomatoes are put into a clean pillowcase and beaten, like smacked around until they become the passata. They pass through the sieve, or in that case, the pillowcase. But that's all it is. It's fresh tomato puree. So we have fresh tomato puree, which is a little bit sweet. I did add a pinch of sugar, I did. My husband always has quick dissolved sugar on hand because he's a big cocktail maker. So we always have a bit of this. You put in a drip of honey, you could put in a drip of agave, you can skip it all together. The whole point of buying San Marzano tomatoes is that they're supposed to be sugary sweet already. And that's the point I made earlier about just buyer beware. If you're buying something that says San Marzano tomatoes, make sure they actually are San Marzano tomatoes. Okay, so now we're going to, at the end, turn the sauce off. This has been simmering probably, what guys, 20 minutes? About 20 minutes or so. We thickened up our tomato sauce a little bit, and we're adding a lot of basil. We'll put more on top of the Parmigiana. So we're making eggplant Parmigiana, and I reiterate my love and devotion to Sophia Loren. And the first time I read an eggplant baked recipe that wasn't breaded and fried was in her cookbook. And I was gifted that cookbook again after my house burned down. Scoot your butt, I gotta get my Dolly Parton. I gotta get my Dolly Parton on. My pot holders have Dolly Parton on them because I love her. Oh, okay. So here's our eggplant. It's gonna taste like sausage, by the way. Ooh, because it has fennel, garlic, hot pepper, salt, granulated onion and garlic both, and the fennel and all those flavors coming together, and a hint of oregano, not too much oregano. It tastes too floral if you use too much, so be careful when you go down that alley. So I'm just wilting in the basil, but I'm gonna put more on top of the dish too. So once I show you the method, guys, that's all, just repeat, repeat. So a little sauce, you gotta keep it loose on the bottom. That sounded so dirty, by the way. And we're going to add in eggplant. You should wait longer, by the way, than I did, to do this, you should wait until, it's cool enough to touch. I can't feel most of my fingertips, as John Oliver has made fun of before, but it's the truth. So people that cook all the time in high pressure kitchens, we can do that, but you should probably wait a bit so that doesn't happen to you. I think I could put one more over here. Come on, buddy. Come hang out with your friends. Sauce, eggplant, cheese, sauce, eggplant, cheese, sauce, eggplant, cheese. And this is where it gets really fun. Copious amounts of cheese. Choo, choo, choo. And this is true eggplant parm. No breadcrumbs, not heavy. It's actually quite a light dish when you think about it. It's just eggplant and tomatoes. That's all that's going on here. When you get to the top layer, that's the big ta-da. That's when you put the mozzarella in. You don't put it in the middle, you put it on the top. It's the big ta-da. That's coming up. Now comes the big ta-da. Any bit of extra you can pass at the table. For me, that's gonna be like a quarter of a cup, so probably not worth it, but Parm, it is called eggplant parmigiano. This is Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. We make Parmesan in America, very good Parmesan. We make it in Wisconsin. Parmigiano Reggiano is from Parma, and it is a specific thing. And I usually, although I have used many times over the years, the Parm from Wisconsin, and love and adore them. I love cheese-making people. I'm from upstate New York. I totally get you. But I have to tell you, because I live half of my year almost in Italy, I always buy Parmigiano Reggiano, and there is a difference between Parma and Wisconsin. They're both delicious, but they're different things. That's all. That's all I'm pointing out. So now we're going to cover the dish with the mozzarella that every American is expecting and waiting for. We don't want to disappoint them. Not like Italians hate mozzarella either, come on. But this is not necessary. You can make this just with Parmigiano Reggiano sprinkles everywhere, and we would be good. And then we just put this in the oven until it's brown and golden and delightful. When you're using mozzarella, you have to make sure it's well drained, firm. And I wouldn't buy what they mark as buffalo mozzarella and it's sitting in a ton of water. Buy the ones that are like wrapped in plastic. But even then, I find you need to pat them dry and let them just sit in the fridge a bit. In upstate New York, we just put it in the outdoor refrigerator, we put it outside for a couple of minutes and let it dry out a bit. You want it to be firm enough to slice without difficulty. So here's our eggplant parm. come on over here. All this is eggplant and tomato sauce, layered with lots of parm, topped with double cheeses. We have mozzarella and parm on the top. But this is layer after layer of roasted eggplant that's seasoned as if it were, well, sausage. It has fennel, onion, garlic, oregano, parsley, roasted at 450 degrees. It's delicious. You're gonna love it. Oh, gosh, that looks gorgeous.